banter. Balls and banter. No excuses, just win, win, win with your balls and banter. We got balls, we got pucks, we got sticks, we got everything in between. We got balls and banter.
All right, Tuesday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Welcome to the show. So many different things that we're going to hit on. We're going to go kind of just all over the place today. I mean, we're even for a little bit, we're going to talk about a damn marathon today.
Yes.
Some movies. Yes, Tom, as a runner, is thrilled. If you see me running at this point in time, you should be running very fast.
In the same direction.
In the same direction. Tom, we'll get to that part. How are you, by the way?
I am fine. I'm feeling a bit springy.
I see that. You look a bit springy.
Are those pineapples on your shirts or just palm trees? I can't tell.
Pineapples and coconuts.
Nice.
Yes. Very birdcage outfit. I like it. Sunday, man, I tell you what, I joke a lot about, and I shouldn't say I joke. I mean it. I'm very sad in football off-season, although lots of interesting off-season stuff happening today, some of which we'll talk about. But then I am reminded, there's a lot of, Sunday was sports bliss for me. It was outstanding. What a great day. I mean, it was a good weekend overall. There was obviously some huge basketball games. And I was looking at part of the wrong schedule, by the way, last Thursday when we were talking about the weekend, and he omitted the biggest games of the weekend, but whatever. But you got great games, and then Sunday, especially selfishly for me, Minnesota Wild, great game with the Avalanche, goes all the way to shootout. We lose that part, not great. Still get a point though, and so that's middle of the day, lounging around watching that. Meanwhile, you've got Arnold Palmer Invitational wrapping up. That one goes to a playoff between Badia and Berger. Great finish, great tournament. The race is starting in Phoenix. And then you've got Michigan State later. We're going to talk about that. But golly, just a fun Sunday. Great Sunday. It was great weather here. Just turned out to be awesome. But to the race real quick. This thing was chaotic. 12 cautions, set a record for that track, I believe. In the end, Tyler Reddick's start of the season streak is over. Still had a pretty decent race, but the streak is over. He did not win 4 straight. This man right here did. Ryan Blaney got the win, and he's got the best look in all of NASCAR, and it's not close.
Yes, he does. It's amazing.
Check this out.
18 Penske fans, we are here in Victory Lane, Phoenix. What an awesome weekend. I mean, finishing out the sweep with the IndyCar Series. Joseph put the pressure on us yesterday, and really proud that we were able to persevere today and wind up at Victory Lane. So really proud of the effort by everyone on this 12 group. Unreal weekend for Team Penske. So really appreciate all the support that everyone gives us, and here's to many more. Have a good weekend.
So it was Penske won everything all weekend. Anything that happened out there, they won. But can we put just a still up of that?
I'd never seen him before without the helmet, and then when he got out and pulled the helmet out, I was like, wow. Yes. Thank you.
The hair, the mustache. I was telling my kids, I was like, that's not a mustache. That's a mustache. That's its own, it gets its own pronunciation or term. It's freaking amazing. Tom, break down this outstanding look as only you can.
Everything about this clip is fantastic. The hair, it kind of looks like a mullet. I know he doesn't rock a mullet, but it just, for us, hardcore fashionistas of NASCAR world, that's what we're going for. The glasses are fantastic. The mustache, it harkens back to Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, that kind of a stash. With that kind of facial hair, to quote Ricky Bobby, you got to be a winner, man. And That says it. And also, can we put a special shout out to the sponsor, Dent Wizard? I mean, everything about this is fantastic.
It is. I love, too, that he gets out, takes his helmet off, and then his car's rolling away from him. We can't play that clip because it was, it's licensed, but just everything about it was great. Everything.
The only thing that would have made it better is if he would have pulled out a lung dart and fired it up and had a cig while he was doing
and drank a milk while getting in Vic Lane, like they used to.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was fun. I'm enjoying the hell out of the start to this NASCAR season. It's just been fun. We've got UFL starting soon, March Madness starting soon. More on that in a little bit here. But let's talk about some off-season football stuff because there's plenty of that going on. We could talk about all the moves that have happened leading up to this week. In principle, again, nothing can officially happen till tomorrow afternoon. But leading up to this week, and then official legal tampering started yesterday, which is just 2 days where you can get stuff done, and there's some windows where agents can talk to teams, and it's whatever.
I would imagine when the story started breaking yesterday, you were kind of like a 8-year-old Drew Berquist, who the door was cracked open so he could kind of see his mom like wrapping presents.
It's fun time. The only thing is we're still so new on Aired Out Bro, and we don't really have any staff. So it's like, well, we can't cover all of this. We just got to have to pick some top ones because no one would have any life if you covered all of these stories. So still, I shouldn't say this, still go to other sports sites too because we can't get it all there yet. That's going to be fixed soon. But you've got, the big news yesterday, the biggest kind of thing that kicked things off was Tua Tagovailoa was released by the Dolphins, or he's being released tomorrow by the Dolphins. Tom, you're probably thrilled about that. I would think.
I am.
And so there's some great memes. There's a lot of memes for Tua on Thursday. I'll just give you some fair warning right now. But they're releasing him and he and his agent are bringing his left-handed southpaw status to join another southpaw in Atlanta because the Falcons are going to sign him to a 1-year deal. So you've got Tua and then Michael Penix, two of the most injured people on the planet who will be competing. Like, I'm just telling you, Falcons management, ownership, like you should probably get a good third guy too. Okay? Because
Kirk Cousins.
who they're releasing. So that's what's happening there. I'm just excited selfishly because there were some people I didn't buy into it who had floated the idea of the Vikes signing him to a 1-year deal just to bring in some veteran quarterback behind JJ or to challenge JJ, which is still probably going to happen. Like likely today we're going to hear that Kyler Murray's getting signed. Maybe not. Maybe he goes to the Jets. But I'm okay with that because Kyler is a winner when he's healthy. I just don't want Tua running out of the tunnel in our state. I think Tua's a good person. I just don't want him on my team.
No, and if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, this has got to be a weird one for you because you have Michael Penix, who he was injured 5 times last season, and so he's prone to injury. And then you have Tua, and we all know how injury prone he is. But on the upside, if you are a Falcons fan, Tua has his issues because there is no blocking for him with the Miami Dolphins in their offensive line. So now you drop him into a team that has pretty good blocking. And Tua, if he can, go check his reads and dump his passes off quickly, as long as he's protected, he'll be fine. So I think bringing him in to kind of give Michael Penix a little bit of a quarterback battle to start the season with is what you're looking for in that organization. But also, too, if Penix does go down, I don't know if you could do a lot worse, but at least I feel like with Tua in that environment with the offensive line that the Falcons have, that he might be okay and might not be as injury prone.
Yeah. Well, Disco just looking it up. I mean, Penix has torn his ACL multiple times.
Based on this reporting, he tore his left one during the 2025 season, And then his previous injuries, he tore his right one twice, 2018, 2020. So it's the 5th season-ending injury in his 8-year college/NFL career.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's been beat up. He's a great football player, but between his knees and to his head,
and now you're introducing turf into it for your home games.
Yes, you are. It'll be interesting. Sorry, Falcons fan. Maybe it goes well. He is a talented football player when he's healthy. Both of them are, but Tua obviously more experience. You've got some interesting weapons there for him to have. I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom. I'm just saying I'm glad he's not coming to Minnesota. This was a big announcement. 49ers signing Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been with Tampa Bay the entire time, his entire career, signing a 3-year deal with them, leaving Baker, Godwin, and some of the folks. There's some shakeups that have been happening with their offensive staff. Obviously, Liam Cohen left there, to come and be the head coach in Jacksonville, and then the OC this year is now gone, and they're replacing that person. So some stuff there. Evans says it's about opportunities to win a championship. Obviously, San Francisco's got some great tools and weapons, great coaching staff out there. They've had a good run. So he's going to be going there. I was kind of surprised because, Baker, Godwin, they kind of had some good things going here recently. Tom, this is your newly adopted team, and you're losing a stud. I mean, Mike Evans is people who watch football know Mike Evans is really good, but Mike Evans is quietly like guaranteed Hall of Famer stud. His stats are right up there with the top 5 best in a lot of categories, like of all time. Like he's really an impressive football player.
San Francisco's going for it. I got to think that right now at this point with the acquisition of Evans, that they're going to have one of the oldest rosters average, as far as the ages go. Because Evans is in his 30s, right? He's like 31, 32.
Yeah.
And so you've got George Kittle, who I believe is in his 30s, and then Christian McCaffrey, who I don't think is 30 yet. But
right around there. Yeah.
Yeah, with age comes experience, and I think that's what the 49ers are banking on. The big issue is, can all 3 of those guys, and I can't remember the name I'm drawing a blank on their other wide receiver, but if you could keep those guys healthy, I think they might be formidable in the NFC.
Yeah, well, with Kyle Shanahan's system and his scheme, Ricky Pearsall is one of their receivers. They've got some other great weapons. He's battled injuries too, and obviously got shot after he was drafted early on. But can't hold that against him.
No.
But they've got a lot of great pieces there. They are, for the most part, on the older side. Purdy's still young, but some of his weapons on the older side. They've just got a great organization. They always have. They're super strong right now, but so is the rest of the NFC West. I mean, the Rams trading for McDuffie, doing some other moves. You've the Cardinals down right now. The Seahawks did pretty well last year. I think we could all argue, winning the whole damn thing. So that's a tough division. The Chiefs, who historically have been pretty damn formidable, lost Mahomes obviously to an injury for the year last year. That changes things dramatically. But they're coming back this year, and they're signing Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, who the Seahawks didn't have room for in terms of just the cap space. So he'll be signing there. Not a bad place to land. Not a bad tool to add to your offense if you're Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, who certainly will be back. By the way, Kelsey returning to KC. He made that announcement. He's going to come back. So you will get more Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey drama and pictures and video cuts and all that kind of stuff next week or next year.
And if you're a Chiefs fan, this has got to make you giddy, man. It just seems like this is the last big piece that they're needing.
Yeah. He's a hell of a player. If he has anywhere near the year he did this year in KC, yeah. I mean, he's golly, he was just straight beast mode last year, and particularly in that game. Awesome. No, I think that'll be a great piece. I think you are excited as well. Last one, we'll mention someone who played in KC last year as a backup is going now potentially to be a backup again, but Gardner Minshew, who has that Minshew mania following. You talk about he's the Blaney the Ryan Blaney of the NFL. And he's going to the Cardinals, who have announced, as we've talked about, that they're releasing Kyler Murray. So their franchise quarterback is moving on somewhere else to be determined. And they've got Jacoby Brissett, who they think will be the starter. And then you're bringing in probably one of the most reliable and entertaining backups in the league in Gardner Minshew. He's a guy that you'd like to have, like, if your quarterback goes down, because he is good. He can do some good things. He's got some great experience. So I think that's a good move.
I think so too. He reminds me of the Don Strock of this era.
Yes.
Where, you get a couple of starts here and there, but he's just not built for it. And, being a reliever, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It's a good fit. So, you just, in life, you just have to know where your role is. And it just, not to take anything away from backups, because, let's look at Earl Morrall, and we're going way back 50 years plus for that. But, you're given an opportunity, the Brady for Bledsoe. I'm not putting Minshew in that same category, but what I am saying is, there is a spot for a decent backup quarterback to fill in the gaps to help a team the best way that they can.
Absolutely. And it's a hell of a career. Your body takes way less of a toll. You get paid great money. Great is quite an understatement. And then sometimes you get some opportunities. And it's a great fit. He's a good one to have.
And everybody seems to like you. They're not calling for your head on a weekly basis. It's almost, it's the quarterback position of the long snapper.
Yes.
Where not really much is expected out of you. If you get in there and win, fantastic. And then the starter comes back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. Malik Willis, by the way, who was back up in Green Bay, is moving to Miami, signed a pretty sizable deal to go play quarterback there. Whether it'll be him or Quinn Ewers, who's starting, is TBD, but Malik Willis getting a good chunk of money. Speaking of, just going back real quick to Tua, by the way, record-setting dead money hit. The Dolphins want Tua gone so much that they're eating $99 million.
I wish somebody would give me that kind of a deal.
Right?
to hate me so much that they give me $99 million.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. You see it all the time with coaches and buyouts and this, that, and the other. But Russell Wilson had been the record previously, and then Tua said, hold my beer this year. They're going to pay it out over 2 years, Miami is. I think it's $67 million this year, and I forget the number next year. However you break it up, guys, you're still paying that. That's a lot of money to pay someone to go elsewhere. And if you're Tua, it's like, okay, you didn't like me. You've been wanting to rush me out the door for a while. You're going to pay me this. And then I'm going to go get – like, he's going to be okay. Like, he might be able to come back and buy the Dolphins when it's all said and done.
Right. To me, being a Dolphins fan, as much as I sort of am now, this is a really interesting acquisition to me because of Jeff Hafley, coming from the Green Bay Packers and being able to see Willis up against his defenses. And to me, it's like if you come, if you're a defensive coordinator taking on a head coaching job and you're bringing in somebody who you've worked with in the past and you know what their shortcomings are. And it seems to me that you'll be able to work on those to get them to an acceptable level. Is he tall enough? I don't know. He's 6'1".
Yeah, I think in this day and age, that's fine. It's not Kyler Murray short, or it's certainly not Diego Pavia short. But he's a hell of an athlete, Malik Willis is.
So, being a Dolphin fan, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Tell you what, you put Malik Willis as your starter, you refine some things, bring in the right staff, set him up offensively. He's got some good tools there. But you do that, and here's the most important part. You go back to the old uniforms. Maybe things will go the right way. If you don't, and you continue to have a tramp stamp across the back of your pants, that's so terrible. We know who you play for. You don't need Miami written across the top of your ass.
Yeah, it's to me the changing of the logo was like when the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth. It's that kind of a curse.
Yeah, it's not smart. Go back. Give us some orange end zones, the old uniforms, and let's just go full retro. Synth music.
Yeah, Flipper back in the tank.
Flipper back in the tank.
Yes.
If you want to do this, if you want to win championships, that's how you do it. And people are like, that's not how you do it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In this case, it's not X's and O's. It's some of the other fringe periphery stuff that the Dolphins have got to do. Last thing, and then we'll take a quick break. Travis Etienne moving on from the Jags, which is a big loss for Jacksonville. Super versatile running back. He's going home to New Orleans. He's from Louisiana. Signed a deal there. He'll go and be either the feature or a part of that backfield. Kamara getting towards the end. There's some potential that he won't be there. So that's going to happen, but he's going to be a New Orleans Saint, and the Jags have a hole to fill in their running back room for sure. Okay, quick break. Going to come back. We're going to talk some college basketball. We're still going to talk 80s movies. You'll understand why when it's time. We're going to talk the marathon. We've got Nick Saban stuff to get into. Lots coming up. Stick around.
Are you sick of staring down food that you want to eat, knowing deep down you shouldn't? Or how about being sick of your neighbor Gary, looking fit and trim as he waves to you at the fence line? There's a better way to live, and it takes only a minimal amount of discipline. Introducing No Fuss to Give. No Fuss to Give does not actually alter any hormones or chemical balances in your body. No. This little pill just gives you the courage to let loose and let live. So drop the worries of health and social judgment. Undo your belt and live a little with No Fuss to Give. 97% of participants in a No Fuss to Give trial gained significant weight and added serious health complications to their lives. However, other data suggests they felt great about drowning their sorrows in highly saturated fats, decadent desserts, and gluten and dairy rage sessions. This product is not approved by the FDA or any medical body. No Fuss to Give cannot guarantee success or a long, sustaining life for those who take it. But there's a chance it may work about as well as any other bullshit pharmaceutical product you see on your screen. So give it a try and give us your cash. No Fuss to Give. No Fuss to Give. Bullshit pharmaceutical products.
No Fuss to Give. Gotta love it. Gotta love the fact that we're almost to March Madness, too. So close. So
very exciting.
Close. And it was a great weekend of basketball. The last couple of weeks have been great. Great weeks of basketball, kind of finishing up the year here. And we've got, heading into conference tournament, a new AP poll. Here's the top 25 in America. You can see it on your screen. If you're driving, I will read it to you. Duke is coming in at number 1, Arizona 2, Michigan 3, Florida 4, Houston 5. UConn. Man, coach got a little upset the other day. UConn at 6, Iowa State 7, little brother Michigan State at 8, Illinois 9, Virginia 10, Nebraska 11, Gonzaga 12, St. John's 13, Kansas 14, Alabama 15, Texas Tech 16, and then you've got Arkansas, Purdue, North Carolina, Miami of Ohio rounding out the top 20. I don't know who the hell that is. At 21, is that St. Mary's?
Check it, I think.
Vandy, Wisconsin, Louisville, Tennessee. Let me count 2 on here real quick because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wish we had more. 6 Big Ten teams in there.
Is that a G at the bottom of that SMC one? Like in the shield? I just can't see it on my screen.
I think it's a basketball, isn't it? I can't. It's too small too. That's part of the problem. I don't recognize the logo and it's too small. But that's your new top 25. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida, Houston. Hard to argue with that top 5. It doesn't really matter. Teams are going to get
St. Mary's. Yeah.
Okay. Teams are going to get seeded. this Sunday in the tournament. This will change up a little bit, but then it won't matter because you're just going into the tournament and whatever happens in March Madness happens. I'm good with this. I think Miami of Ohio finished 31-0. We've talked about them on the show. They struggled. Ohio actually should have beat them in that final game. Missed 2 shots at the end. Still huge congrats. Big congrats to Miami of Ohio. You guys went 31-0. That's super impressive. Schedule, not impressive. Some of the wins, ugly. Something to keep in mind. I still don't want to play them early on in the tournament if I'm a whatever seed somewhere in the middle of the pack. But I don't think that this is a team who's, again, prove me wrong, Miami, Ohio. I just don't think that you have the legs to get past the Sweet 16. Maybe not even there.
I would have a tendency to agree with that, but I do like the underdog. I hope that they can go as deep into the tournament as they can, because I'm one who still, when it comes to college sports, especially with football and basketball is the last one where you don't have to be a huge powerhouse school to go far in the tournament.
Yeah.
But I think it's highly improbable that they do. The team that scares me the most in this is number 6 UConn, just because of Dan Hurley.
Wow. I mean, not a wild card. They're very statistically and traditionally just a outstanding stud program. Stud coach, like him or don't like him, he's a stud coach. So they're a scary team. And I think, we just beat Michigan State again yesterday, swept them. Sorry, little guys. But that's a team. You don't want to play Michigan State and Tom Izzo in this tournament either, especially if you're being guarded by fears because you're going to get kicked in the nuts. Did it again this weekend. I've never seen anything like this kid. I mean, he's just the gall of swinging your leg back up to kick someone in the nuts repeatedly and then be like, what? And then have Tom Izzo be like, I don't get it. People are just mad at him because he had to have something happen. So no, they're mad at him because he keeps doing it. It's such a weird thing. Anyways, at any rate, yeah, I think you're right, Tom. UConn's a scary one. Michigan State, Illinois you don't want to play them either. Nebraska had this crazy year. It's weird seeing Nebraska good at basketball. They've had an outstanding year. Are they top 5, top 6? No. But again, anything can happen in March Madness. You don't want to come up against them.
So remember a few weeks ago we were talking about this bracket, it had nothing to come out, and we were talking about what does Lenardi have Miami, Ohio at?
Mm-hmm. What'd Courtney say? What was his bet?
He wasn't. Oh, I can't. No, it wasn't Courtney. It was
Jeff.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he said. I could go back. I can't remember.
Anyways.
But anyway, he has him at 11
on the bracket.
So it's still the prediction, and nothing's in there yet. But from his prediction, they're saying they're going to be seated at 11.
I think it's probably somewhere around there. It might be a smidge higher, but it's not like they're not a 5 or 6 seed.
I mean, because right now in their season, they're 31-0, conference record 18-0. Like they're doing really well, well.
But there's all the data that gets factored in, strength of schedule, big wins, all of that. They're flatlining on that, so that's going to kill them. But again, let's say they're a 10, 11, 12 seed. You don't want to be, the lower seed playing them in the first game. And I will say this too about Miami of Ohio. Again, I know I keep picking on you. I'm not trying to pick on you. You're in the MAC. It's not your fault that you're in the MAC. Your schedule just can only be so difficult when you're in a conference like that, especially when you don't go and play some big Power 4 schools outside of conference play. But if you win and you go all the way, Final Four, and then you're cutting the nets down as the national championship and you have not lost a single game, there will be a movie made about you. And I promise that.
Now, the right now, if they get seeded with that, they're going to go against the Tar Heels. That's what they're saying.
Who lost their best player for the year.
Yeah.
I mean,
that could be a win.
That's a trap game against UNC. I mean, UNC is the better program, the better team.
Yeah.
But that's a trap game.
Because right now he has them seeded at 6. So
Yeah.
but they probably play a harder schedule.
I know
right?
you hated it more than I did, Tom, but I hated that game, the Duke-UNC game, because it's such a...
That was terrible.
It's like, this is like one of the greatest sports things that happens twice a year in all sports, and it just was a terrible game.
Oh, it was awful. And in team sports, you don't like to say, well, it's one player carrying a team, but in this case, that seems to be what's happening.
Well, it definitely happens a lot more in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a great supporting cast, but you lose someone like him, that hurts you. Well, we'll see. I'll still be cheering for him. My son was cheering for him. He was like, I'm cheering for them because of Tom. Like, well.
All right.
So
we got the ACC tournament coming up.
Yeah, we do. ACC tournament coming up. Big Ten starts today. SEC tournament starts tomorrow. All that stuff's happening. So a fun week of conference championships and tournaments. And then Selection Sunday is coming up 6 p.m. Eastern, CBS this Sunday. We find out what the field looks like, and then we figure out how to bet as much as we can and not lose our family and our house. I think that's the plan.
Is that what's going on the line this year in our March Madness bracket? Okay.
I tried to convince my wife and my family at dinner the other day that we should do, in front of her parents, that we should do $1,000 for the family pool. I was shot down. We're not doing that. It's not going to happen. I think it's going to stay at like 20 or 40 or something like
You look over at the kids, you're like, yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically when it's the family, if you start entering the $100 range, then people start raising eyebrows. Once you go to 1,000, then there's side calls happening about what's really going on.
Yes, I agree. I like to throw some things out there and see what the response is.
Well, if they would have said yes, well,
I would have been like, hell no. Just be appalled at my stupid idea. That's all I'm going for.
I love how your in-laws are over, and all of a sudden you turn into Michael Jordan when it comes to betting.
They know. I've got the best in-laws on the planet. It's not even close. And they just know. I mean, they've known me for 19 years now, and they're like, well, we could have done better, but this is what we've got.
I think we're stuck with them now.
Real quick too, I lost, but I did bet on NASCAR this week. I've said it's one of the hardest things to bet on, and I stand by that. I think golf, NASCAR, some of those things are really tricky. But I found out I had a balance on Hard Rock, so I just used it. I bet like $11. I'm telling you, it makes the race so much more fun. I just spread that out over 5 people who didn't. No,
you got some skin in the game.
You got some skin in the game. My one daughter, who's always super into it, to the point where I have to kind of watch it. Like, all right, who we got? He just moved up. He's like, you might have more of a problem than I do. But it makes it so much more fun. So much more fun. And again, I'm not encouraging blowing lots of money here. I'm talking $5, $10, maybe $20 on a crazy day. But that made it fun. Back to college basketball. I'll stop rambling. Tom Izzo. Again, we play Tom Izzo. First of all, Tom Izzo, legendary coach, one of the best there is. Mad respect for him, even though he's in East Lansing. You can not like a school and a team and still respect coaches and players. Tom Izzo's in that category. He's a living basketball legend. But they did get beat for a second time, got swept this year by Michigan. They came to Ann Arbor, to Chrysler Arena, lost. And Tom Izzo apparently doesn't like being called little brother, because he started off his post-game remarks by saying this. We won't listen to the whole thing, but take a listen.
Guess the crowd didn't watch the game because I'm nobody's damn little brother. And neither is my team. I'm really proud of my team, how they played and what they did. I give Michigan a lot of credit. They shot the daylights out of it, especially Axel. They shot 40-some% from the three, and they took 100 free throws. That was the difference in the game. We made some boneheaded plays where we didn't step up on ball screens, let them get downhill. and we made some uncharacteristic fouling a guy. And
All right, so he goes on, says some classy things, complimented Michigan multiple more times, highlighted the fact that they went 29-2. They did. They had a remarkable year. And a lot of years, Michigan State has the more remarkable year. Great basketball program, great coach. But if you don't want to be called little brother, don't do little brother things, bro. Like, you can't start off all triggered and offended that the Maze Rage, which is one of the better college basketball fan bases, is out there giving you shit. It's a rivalry game between two heated rivals. And when it comes to, Michigan, Ohio State's a bigger one than Michigan State. That one's still huge for football. But for basketball and hockey, Michigan State is it. Like, that's the rivalry. And you can't be triggered by a nickname like that. You've been doing this too long. I thought it was funny, like, that you started with that. They're not paying attention. We're not anybody's little brother. You call us names, like, that's just how it goes.
Rule number 1, if somebody gives you a nickname, don't fight it. Laugh at it and ignore it, and it'll go away. The moment that you start objecting to it, it 100%. Sticks.
Yeah, you wait till next year, Tom Izzo. Like, you thought that it was bad Sunday at Chrysler Arena. Next year at both the Big House and when you come back to Chrysler Arena and when you play at Yost Fields, the ice hockey rink, it's to Tom's point, it's only going to get worse. Like, there's blood in the water. And, like, that's, especially if you're Tom Izzo, you're a great coach. And now how he has defended fears, I both get and don't get, because he's your player. That's your job as a coach, to defend the program, defend your players. I don't know how you defend that kid with as many stupid things as he does all the time. Like, it makes Tom, sometimes it's like, Tom, you sound dumb now for defending him. Watch the film. Like, you're surely your assistants showed you why he got the technical and why everyone's outraged that he kicked someone in the nuts or he purposely tripped them or he whatever, all the things that Fears does. But all that to say, Tom, I totally agree. If you don't want this to happen, you don't address it.
I mean, there comes a point where you can only defend somebody so much. Like Ndamukong Suh. This is what this kid reminds me of. It's like, how many times are you going to say, "Oh, he didn't mean to step on his arm"?
Right.
There's just so many. Or Andrew Galata. Oh, he didn't mean to punch. I can't remember who it was in the balls 3 times.
Right. Yeah, I know. You can't. You just can't. I'm sending you something, David, to pull in because it's pertinent to this conversation.
Okay.
I think it's important for America to see. Just grab the photo from this.
The first time something like that happens, it's like, hey, he lost his cool. It happens to the best of us. We'll work on, his aggression and that sort of thing. But clearly, the second time, it's like, okay, you need to chill out a little bit. Third time, we've got a bit of a problem here that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. When you come off as like an 80s vintage heel character who's always low blowing the opponent in the nuts, but you come off as that as a basketball player in something that's not scripted in 2026, and you do it all the time, like this flip my knee up and kick the defender behind me in the nuts is like, again, you do it once out of anger. Everyone has a temper. It's just how hot your temper is. But when you do it, to your point, all the time, like, as a coach, like, you're suspended, and then you come back and you do it again, you're gone. And your NIL money's gone. And all of this is gone because you're making our university and our basketball program, which is among the most respected in the country, look like crap. You know it looks like crap? Yeah. Between the little brother comments from Izzo and then this picture right here after the win or from the win.
I got questions about this photo, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, this is how the Michigan State rivalry went this year. Doesn't always go that way, but it did this year. 2-0 in the regular season against Sparty. And, like, you want to complain, like, we're not little brother. It looks like you're even more than little brother in this photo right here. Like, that is the definition of being owned. You're getting dunked over, and your face is, like, leaving an impression in the dude's junk.
Okay. So I haven't checked this photo, but my big question about this photo being real is, where is the ball?
His mouth is on that. So
no, he dunked it, so it's already down on the ground.
I think it's already down on the ground. Yeah.
He's hanging on to that rim and coming down, so the ball's already gone.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, man. It is. It's the age of AI.
Yeah.
Is it real? Is it fake? I've seen it everywhere. That doesn't mean it's real. That should be a teaching point for everything, whether it's stuff about Iran or stuff about this person or that person or stuff about basketball. But it is a perfect picture of how this rivalry went this year, nonetheless.
It is. And I understand that you're dunking the ball, but you do seem a little bit more excited than you should be if you're the Michigan player.
Yeah, and he's looking down, and maybe he's enjoying it. I don't know. I mean, I just thought it was a great.
Yeah, there's a lot
that sums up the rivalry. Even if it's AI, it's still it to me. It's even better. Well, it's better if it's real, but even AI makes it good because it shows the bitterness of this rivalry.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that could make it better if it was Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, by the way, Ohio State, president of the university stepping down for an inappropriate relationship. I mean, what kind of university has scandals like that? Okay, fine, we had a lot of them too.
Michigan.
I'm totally teasing. I'm being
His
facetious.
charges were dropped.
I know. He's got 2 misdemeanors, but the felony charges dropped. He had a plea deal. And here's what it stems from. A lot of it. General top-level discussion point on this is law enforcement wasn't informed, the judge wasn't informed that Sharon and his little assistant were having a relationship. So that's how the stalking and breaking and entering, some of those different charges existed because they didn't understand that there was an actual ongoing relationship. But it wasn't documented and handled right during the arrest, and that's what Sharon's team got him off on. Look, if you're Sharon Moore, yeah, you might do 30 days in jail. You might not. I think there's a scenario where he could do a year. He won't. I'd be shocked if he did any.
He's going time served.
I think he's going time served. But your reputation is so bad now.
Is it really?
I think it is. I'm not saying he won't coach again.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But, I mean, is it really bad?
I think it is. Do you not?
I don't. I think that once you come to the point where charges are dropped, then it's like, okay, well, it was just an overreaction by overzealous police officers who were trying to keep a coach of color down.
Well, there's going to be that narrative for sure. But if you're an athletic director or a president, you're not coaching in the Southeast. You're not coaching in the Bible Belt.
Yeah, but again, a lot of these presidents at these universities are, diehard Bolsheviks. And they're just going to be like, well, the system, the way the system is, it's geared against, people of color. So everybody is, deserving of a second chance. And I totally believe in second chances, but I think
100%.
Especially in college athletics, or in the pros especially, the bar for bad behavior is set so very high that something like this, I don't even think registers with most people.
Possibly not. When you think of, I go all the way back to his post-game speech after Penn State when he was filling in for Harbaugh and how ridiculous he looked, and then just how bad he was as a coach. We had some decent years, terrible for Michigan standards, but decent having lost a lot of people and him, stepping. He never should have been coach. But you see all of those things, and then you get to the end where he's fired for sleeping with a staffer and threatens to kill himself and looks just super unstable. I'm all for second chances too. I hope he gets a second chance. I hope he comes to know the Lord if he doesn't and gets himself right and all those things. But I think the ceiling is Akron or Kent State as your starting point, and it's probably lower. But that's how I would handle it. Like, I'm not the University of Tennessee or Georgia calling or Oregon calling like, we'd love to get you on the staff. And you're absolutely right. Your point is well received. Like, the bar is so high, and what's acceptable these days and what's not is absurd. Sodom and Gomorrah's got nothing on us. But you would think in a reasonable world, based on his actual talents, which are not great outside of being an offensive line coach, that he's stuck in the MAC or below to start.
Right. Or he goes to Los Angeles to the Chargers and, hangs out with Harbaugh for a couple of years.
I wouldn't be shocked at that because Jim is a loyal guy. Jim will give second chances. Like, yeah, you could see him coming out there like, hey, we want you to be the O-line or tight ends coach, or we want you to be an offensive analyst or assistant with no real actual function. Not that he doesn't do anything, but no title. That's a possibility. I think it's lower on the staff at the D1 football level, lower in terms of the, I'm trying to say, in terms of the conference, the team, or a hard swing to the Chargers. But that's the only major outcome that could come in the near term that looks super positive. I might be dead ass wrong. I think there's a coin flip or better that I am dead ass wrong. I just see it as it's less so for me about the fact that you totally flew off the handle and lost your shit and made bad decisions and ruined your family. Like, those are all really big things, by the way. It's more just that you're not a great coach. You're a good recruiter. Good recruiter. I really, at the end of the day, this comes back to a me issue and not a Sharon. We're talking about Sharon more, but I'm just pissed off about how we ran the program the last 2 years. So it's really my frustrations leaking out, and Sharon's involved in it, but he's catching it because of that.
But do you really need to be a good coach in this day and age?
No, but I think you should. Like, I think we still need to aspire to have coaches who want to pour into the program and develop culture and community there above all else, which then leads to the other successes. And there's just not enough that do that, like, because it's not that everything is shifted. But we're going to listen to Nick Saban in a couple minutes here. Obviously, Nick Saban's the GOAT, but the principles of Nick Saban, even if Nick Saban was not Nick Saban, he was Jerome Murphy, and he was 8-4 every year, but ran a good program. And the kids all turned out great and came out great, high graduation rate. They all were upstanding individuals who walked into homes and respected people, walked into jobs and respected. You still hope for that, but you don't. You don't necessarily need it anymore. It's all changed. Again, I mean, Sharon Moore. It's changed so much that Sharon Moore, and there were some circumstances with it. Obviously, Harbaugh and Michigan, that happens. And you want some continuity there. But Sharon Moore never should have been a head coach at a major Power 4 conference. And yet
I think he'd be a good fit at Colorado.
He'd fit in perfect there. Yeah, Deion's hiring, Sharon. Go get yourself a job. Go join the circus. Okay, I don't even know where we are now. We've gone off on so many tangents.
Moving to Saban now.
We're moving to Saban. Let's move to Nick Saban because the round table happens Friday. President Trump expected to issue an executive order this week, which, again, I think you guys might disagree in the audience. That's totally fine. This is America. We can do that. I think it's great to work towards something, bring all these voices together, and come up with a solution to fix college sports. We have to do that. There's a lot of different avenues of approach, a lot of different methods and ideas, and how we do that, how it gets executed in the end, TBD. I'm not a believer that this is something that the president should, the government, it's not a Trump thing or not Trump thing. It's the U.S. government. I don't think this should be a government thing. I think that this is something that can be solved without the government and without the NCAA, and it can be done better and smarter. It can be done in a business-minded model that still puts focus and emphasis on protecting the kids and protecting sports. But at any rate, that aside, the meeting did happen, and you have all these people. You have Fox, ESPN there. You've got SEC, Big Ten commissioners, ACC. You've got all these people. Charlie Baker there from the NCAA. You've got people like Saban. You've got Urban Meyer. All these folks there. A lot of the people who should be in the room were there, and Nick Saban said this.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the chance and the opportunity to be here to speak with you today, but I just want everybody to know that I'm just a football coach. I spent my life when we had the ball trying to get a first down, when they had the ball trying to get off the field on third down. So this is an unlikely position for me to be in to speak to such a distinguished group of people. Thank you. But I come here today with a question. What are the guiding principles for the future of college athletics? All athletics. I'm talking about football, basketball, Olympic sports, revenue, non-revenue, it doesn't matter. You know, my goal as a coach for my players, for our players, was to help them be more successful in life, that we would create an atmosphere and environment that would help them through personal development, academic support, 668 degrees in 17 years at Alabama, and help them develop a career as a football player. That was our goal, so that they were creating value in life and we were preparing them for their future past athletics. So what happened? You know, in this current system that we have, that became impossible to do because people, instead of making decisions about creating value for their future, they were making decisions about how much money could they make at whichever school they could go to or transfer to. So I think we have a challenge here today about the ramifications of this current system on how it helps players be successful in their future and how we can impact and create a system that will help and preserve the opportunity for student athletes to be able to have success in their future beyond athletics. So we need to develop an effective system of revenue sharing, authentic name, image, and likeness, authentic being you have marketing value, which now we have collectives, which just create opportunities, which just become pay for play. Eligibility issues where we have guys playing 6, 7, and 8 years. So you have 25 and 26-year-old people playing against 18 and 19-year-olds, which is not healthy. Transfer rules. We have over 4,000 people in the portal. Fans don't like it. Support groups don't like it. It's not really healthy for players in graduation to transfer several times in your career. You really put yourself in a pickle in terms of your ability to graduate. So I think we need to come up with a system, and we obviously have to do it with the president's leadership and also with Congress probably, whether it's antitrust legislation or whatever it is, to allow student athletes in all sports, including women's and Olympic sports, to enhance their quality of life while going to college, but still provide opportunity to advance themselves beyond their athletic career, which is what the philosophy of college athletics and getting a college education has always been about. And how much does anybody talk about getting an education anymore? Nobody talks about it at all, which is the most important thing any of these student athletes can do in terms of enhancing their future.
And you wonder why everyone with a brain says, can we please, for the love of God, get Nick Saban to run this thing? You don't have to be an Alabama fan to know greatness, and Nick Saban is greatness. Obviously, he was great as a football coach at all of his stops. Did well everywhere he was. Legendary run at Alabama, except for the Dolphins. And he was a part of some bad teams like the Browns as an assistant, at different points in his career. But his college stops, Michigan State, he was awesome. LSU, he was awesome. Alabama, he did okay. Obviously joking. He did freaking amazing. But where he excels and why he excels everywhere he goes and still does today even on College Game Day, where he's just become such a great piece. But he's just got his head on straight. He's dialed in. Like, you can listen to Nick Saban. Go find him. Go find him on YouTube. Go listen to Nick Saban talk to kids at a youth camp at one of the schools he's coaching, and you'll be leaning in more than the kids are to hear what he says, because what he says just rings true. And he's absolutely right. And look, if Nick Saban takes the approach that he said there, we got to work with Congress and the president, okay, fine. If you're involved, fine. Otherwise, what's an executive order going to do? An executive order does nothing. And keep that in mind. For politics, for this, for anything, it does, I shouldn't say does nothing. It does something, but it's so easily reversed. It's not long-lasting. It's not codified into law. We need meaningful change. And to do things right, we need meaningful change to come from somewhere other than D.C., because all D.C. does is screw things up. I applaud the president for getting all these people together. This is not a Trump thing. This is a Washington, D.C. establishment thing. And we've got a massive problem to fix. And when you've got a massive problem to fix, you don't go to someone who has created the government, not Trump. You don't go to an entity and say, let's go to the most jacked up place ever and have them help us fix it. No, like, why would you do that?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons why you would have to do that is because the Supreme Court has already ruled in favor against the NCAA. So something has to be done. So you got to me, that would be the first step in setting up guidelines of what you're going to, what your umbrella organization is going to be, and the guardrails that you're going to put into effect, whether it's a salary cap or whatever it is. At least it gives you a starting point. For as dysfunctional as the government is, you have to act on government has to act on the Supreme Court's decision. That way, the proper steps can be taken to move everything forward. Until that happens, it's still going to be the Wild West.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. Like, and look, regardless of what I think, we're past the point because of the Supreme Court ruling. It doesn't matter. The government is going to be involved. They have to be involved. Even if they hadn't ruled, the government still always, they're going to get their hands in there. They're going to be involved. But hopefully,
especially when you're dealing with this kind of money.
This is a lot of freaking money. And there's a lot of money for people to make in a lot of different corners of the world, not the world, our country, as it pertains to this too. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. We'll see what this executive order is this week and what the spirit of it is. Like, that's what I want to get a sense of. It's not, is it going to last forever? It probably won't. Maybe it does. But what's the spirit of it? What's the text and the verbiage in the EO say? And what did Trump and his team take from this meeting? And basically, what's the starting point? Like, where are we starting with this?
I think the EO is a good thing, and the reason why I think it's a good thing is because it's going to be challenged. It's going to go to court. There's going to be tons of lawsuits against it, and eventually it'll have to be fleshed out. Yeah. So at least, as benign as it is, an executive order that is pretty much toothless, when it comes to, the next election, at least now it'll be challenged.
Well, and to President Trump's credit, he said that. He said that to the people in attendance at the meeting. He was like, look, I'm going to do an EO. It's probably going to face some significant legal challenges. So he knows. Look, you don't have to like President Trump. President Trump is a master negotiator. Read The Art of the Deal. He does this whether it's talking about war or oil deals or buying a country or working with the NCAA and saving Olympic sports and wrangling in the NIL landscape. He starts here. He does this, and that's not the outcome. The outcome is 10 steps ahead somewhere else, because he knows it's going to trigger these responses. There's going to be ripple effects. It's going to be all that stuff. So you're right.
Again, but his track record at sports, he single-handedly caved in the USFL.
Well, no, he didn't. He hasn't done great in the sports world. I know he likes sports, but he's not. The sports world is just different than the world he lives in. There's some crossover with business, yes, but like...
Well, when you start talking sports, Donald Trump is not the first name that rolls off your tongue when you're talking about any sport, you know, so it's... He may
I
like
don't know,
it.
man. Taking the beast on, for the one of the laps of the Daytona 500,
yeah.
showing up at Super Bowls, always being there for UFC events.
He's the most sports fan centric president. I just don't know how much he gets. He might. I don't sit around and talk to him. I don't know if that's a surprise to people, but he does show up at those events. He obviously loves golf. He's a big golfer.
I'm just saying when it comes to like someone who you'd want to have weigh in on the NFL, you're not going, well, the first person isn't Donald Trump. You'd have, oh no, let's have someone else weigh in, or yes, he may like the sports. He's there. He's very active. He shows up. It's awesome. But he's not I think this is great that they're doing it, like Tom said, and you said, like the ripples that'll come from it. But he's not the person where you're like, well, we have an issue with hockey. Let's call up Donald. That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, there's go-to people in every industry or in every sport. You're talking college football, you go to the Nick Sabans of the world. You're talking college basketball, the Tom Izzos of the world are in that conversation that we've talked about today. You go to hockey, or you're calling Gretzky, you're calling Messier, you're calling some of the greats, you're calling some of the other people who are not players but are involved. But he does. I will give him credit. He shows up at a lot of those events to a lot of people's chagrin and a lot of people's frustration. But I think it's
growing up.
It's great. If I was the president, I would. You think people get mad at folks golfing? Oh, Obama golfed this many times. Trump golfed this many times. If I was president, I would be at a game or event every day. Like, I'm conducting world policy from the box. Maybe.
Yeah. You're going to throw a pitch at every Major League Baseball game.
I would take full advantage of the taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, I would say growing up, I think I only ever saw he went and threw a pitch at a Rangers game. Well, and then 9/11, the Yankees game. But I'm saying but even like before that, it was it wasn't that often that you would see them come out and do stuff. But after 9/11, that was
Navy
incredible.
Game and a couple other events. No, I'd be everywhere.
Yeah, well, Reagan, to me, in the modern time, is the one who started it by doing the gentlemen start your engines before the Daytona 500 from Air Force One, and then landed Air Force One during the race at the airport, right on the other side of the track.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of similarities there between those two.
And then you had Obama throw that girlish first pitch, and then you had Biden who couldn't just walk.
He couldn't. You know what's so weird about it? I'm maybe Obama could play basketball, but Obama
wasn't he the one who installed the basketball court? Yeah,
he loves basketball. I get it. I just I've said this before. His policies are devastating to this country. He's a smooth speaker. I understand why people like him. He can if you just sit around and listen to him, he doesn't actually say anything, but he sounds eloquent and articulate saying it. And he's always been one of the guys who, if you were shoved into a room, politics aside, to have a beer with and talk sports, he's always come off as one of the ones that would be toward the top of the list. I'm not saying he's the top of the list. But what's weird about that is I do feel that sentiment to be true in my heart. And then yet you see, to Tom's point, hold on, let me see you throw a football or a baseball real quick. Let me just see that, because that'll change. Okay, nope, you're not the guy for this. Not everyone's an athlete. I get it. Everyone has to have a couple basic skills. English, throwing a football, eating steak. You've got to have some just basic things that get you through life.
Especially being the president, you know what your schedule is, maybe a week, 2 weeks out, something. And yes, there's some audibles that get thrown in there. I think throwing the pitch at a baseball game would be something like, hey, they're asking you to do this for opening day. It's coming up. What would you be doing? All right, well, I need to practice. I don't want to make a fool of myself. But you see how he did.
W was practicing underneath the stadium.
Yeah.
But W had a different motor for that. W had his flaws for sure.
Yeah. Well, but W also, he was part owner. He's ingrained in baseball. He's a baseball. So of course he's going to throw a baseball.
Yeah.
But he also came from a different era. He came from an era where you played all kinds of
every
sports.
Sport. Yeah.
Your coordination's going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Obama came from, a CIA honeypot who got knocked up by a communist in Kenya. So,
I figured you were going there.
Growing up is a lot different. And this whole thing about, we've been conditioned to think Obama was a good basketball player. And I think there's a little bit of racial stereotyping that goes into that. But if you ever watch him, any videos of him playing basketball, he can only go to his left being his dominant side, his dominant hand. He can't go to the right. His shot is okay. The basic mechanics are there, but he's not an athlete. He's not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. Michael Jordan once famously said, "Have you ever played golf with Obama?" And Jordan's response was, "His golf game is shit." So,
no, exactly.
It was, to me, Michael Jordan is the greatest competitor at anything that I've ever seen before in my life. And for him to say that to me has a ripple effect of Obama's skills in any other sport.
Yeah. No, he was a good athlete in the Chicago bathhouses. I mean, you got to move around quick to get some of the stuff in there. None of that can be confirmed, but
But I think this whole aura about Obama being some like basketball player that could have been in the NBA, and just
I've never heard that. Like
the mythology about him.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you talk to plenty of historians or whatever, well, if he would have applied himself and played basketball in college, there would be no stopping him because he was just one of these unique talents that comes only once in a lifetime and could have done anything that he put his mind to, and he just happened to get into politics.
Yeah. Well, fair point. I love that somehow naturally this worked out because speaking of Kenyans,
What a segue.
there was the Los Angeles Marathon this weekend, and statistically speaking, I've got it pulled up right here. When you look at major marathons and marathon titles, 40 to 70% of them come from some of Obama's ancestors from Kenya. Like that's we all know this, right? Like they can run these long races and win. One of them, what's his name? Michael Baum, Michael Kamau. No one cares. Somebody probably does. I'm sure somebody likes him. He was going to win yesterday, but not yesterday, but this weekend, was slowing down. We don't have the clip. We can't show the clip because it's not licensed to us. But you need to go look it up if you haven't. He was going to win, and there's a lot of other things we got to touch on as it pertains to this race. Going to win, and then an American, Nathan Martin, who you can see on your screen, won by 1/10 of a second.
He just not going to finish.
He comes hauling up from behind. Kenyan dude is about to run through, and Nathan Martin squeezes past him in the closest finish in the history of the race. And an American, hell yeah, wins the Los Angeles Marathon. This dude's a high school coach and teacher, right?
Yeah, Jackson, Michigan.
Like a cool story. And he pulls off this just epic finish. And then the Kenyan crashes through the rope, like if you go and watch it, and just laying on the floor, can't believe what just happened. And it was wild. Tom, you like running. You're a runner. Your son's a runner.
Yeah, this to me, this just doesn't happen in marathons.
No.
Usually, if a race is going to be close, it's like the last quarter mile. You have two guys, whatever's left of the tank going after it, and there is a little bit of distance between the two. But this, crashing the tape, as he did with 0.01 seconds or whatever it was, I've never seen anything like it.
Even in the Olympics, you don't see it that close in a marathon like that.
No, just because, the pace that you're going, because, with this, I can't remember what the winning time was, but we're talking in and around, 4:30, 4:25 a mile, which is cruising.
That's
and, to be able to do that for, 26.2 miles, you're just naturally going to put distance in between first and second place.
Ready for this? This year, Nathan Martin, his winning time this year was 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 16 seconds.
Yeah.
That's great. That's lightning. He was sprinting the entire time.
Yeah. Would be, yeah. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because it could be taken the wrong way.
But there is a little bit of controversy that happened with this because what was the guy's name who was leading the Kenyan fella?
Michael Kamau or Camus or something.
Michael Kamau.
Michael Kamau. Yeah. So I don't know where this happened, but it was close to the finish where you had spectators jumping in front of him, running this one fat chick running with the Kenyan flag, and it took him off the course, and he had to double back around to get back onto the course.
I didn't know that detail.
Yeah.
But are you allowed to leave the course? Is there rules about that?
If you're, you got to get back on.
Where you got out at, or just yeah, wow.
So
was she white, fat white woman?
No.
Okay. she was Kenyan.
No, well, she was holding a Kenyan flag, but judging by the size of her, unless she ate Kenya, she's not.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
my wife used to run marathons all the time, and I'd go watch her, and she didn't do it competitively. She just liked to run them. She would just like to go and do it. She trained for it. But seeing being further out in the field, like down the course, to be like, I'm going to take a picture and have a sign like, hey, and seeing the first 4 runners come flying by, and you're like, we're like 10 miles in, right? And they're just full stride. And it's incredible to see how strong these athletes are. That 10 miles in, they're still in a full-on sprint.
Yeah.
And they don't even look like they're sweating. They're just like, we're good. I can keep going.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm winded just from watching them run by. Like, okay, I'm tired now.
I just got tired tying my shoelace.
Yeah.
But if you see this clip of this woman, because she, gets in front of Kamau and goes off the course, and actually the lead cars, the motorcycle escort, all deviated from this path because it's getting close to the finish line. So he just followed. But it was not only her, there was a couple other people running with this guy. And it's like, we've come to a point now in society. This has more, to me, a reflection of society than anything else. This woman, this fat chick, put herself at the center of what was going on. This was this guy's moment. Right. He's winning the race. By all accounts, he probably would have won. And she decided to be a part of the action that was taking place to get, clips or video or a picture of herself that she could post. And she ended up ruining the race for this guy.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, if you're going to go and be a spectator at an event like a marathon, just be a spectator. Don't insert yourself. And I feel like we've gotten to the point in so many endeavors, especially athletic competitions, the people who are watching as spectators want to insert themselves.
Well, and so I just saw the clip here, and we can't show it, but it's a part of the track where they had no fences up, so people are just kind of on the side. And people were standing in the road trying to figure out what's going on, and they didn't realize he was running by. So he deviates to go out, but then right then is when the fence starts. And so he's outside the fence, and everyone's like, oh, turn around.
Seems like that's a race mishap, too. You got to have the whole damn thing.
Yeah. Well, and
you can't. It's 26.2 miles.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, it's hard. I mean, take it to the Tour de France and cycling. They only have it on mountain. They don't even have, they only have fencing the whole way on time trials because it's a smaller course. But then other than that, you have people showing up in droves up on a mountain on a skinny one-lane road, and they're going up, and they're getting mad because the fans are in front of them. And it's like, well, if you get mad, if you're going to find the fan for doing it, you should put up a fence. Yeah. So therefore they won't do that.
You can't barricade an entire,
you
26
can't.
miles.
It's
like
so
that.
long.
Or like
but she's towards the end, right? Like big ladies towards the end.
Around mile 26 of the LA Marathon, that's when it happened. So it was right then was when the fence was starting.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, so just get your fat ass out of the street. Be like everybody else who we have this social contract. You know a marathon is going on because you brought a freaking Kenyan flag to it. So don't tell me you were confused on what was going on. You deliberately got out there to run with him because you were proud that he was Kenyan, and you just had an epic fail of trying to get your selfie that totally, ruined the race for this guy.
Yeah, and he probably would have won it because he would have had a few more seconds on the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because it came down to, the most razor-thin margin in the history of the race.
Because in the video, he stops running and turns because everyone's yelling at him because he's like, what's going on? So he stood for a few seconds.
Fatty is pointing and going, oh, no, you need to go this way. And it's like, bitch, you're the reason. You're one of the reasons why he deviated from this. And now you're acting like you're trying to be helpful, going, no, that's where you need to go.
And it looked like they had, whether it was broadcast or a film crew, they had a car following him with like a jib camera on it. So if there was a documentary being filmed about him or something, like, that's got to suck.
Yeah.
To have that moment in that.
Yeah.
Like,
it ruins it all.
Yeah, it ruins it all.
I mean, you can do it, but it becomes an entirely
different story. Yeah. How I lost the LA Marathon.
Speaking of stories, to wrap up, you're probably wondering, if you haven't seen this, why on the thumbnail for today's episode you've got Tua Tagovailoa and John Rambo on there. Let's not play this clip because I actually don't know if we can play this clip. But
is there music on it or something?
No, there's not. But it's from the film's page.
Oh, so then let's not worry about it.
But Sylvester Stallone came out and announced that there's been some buzz about this, but he came out and announced that there's going to be John Rambo, which is a prequel film to, of course, his Rambo films, and he's going to serve as an executive producer on it. So that's coming out. And then real quick before we dive into that, so we're going back into 80s land in terms of the film, even though it's going to be a current, more modern-made film. Hopefully at this point we get some of the – although I don't know how you do this. I was going to say hopefully we get some of the mechanics and tactics better because 80s just like, hip fire, like calling I'm going to load my clip. Like, can you stop? I corrected someone the other day. Stop it. Like, I know that you watched those movies growing up. I did too, but let's get the terminology down right. But I don't know if you can correct that because then the prequel's like way more accurate than the others. Anyways, different point. Arnold Schwarzenegger also has gone on record saying that there's at least talks. It's not as far along in development as John Rambo, the prequel. But Schwarzenegger is teasing a new Conan film, Commando 2, and a Return to the Predator series.
Wow.
Which would be interesting. So here's what I know that people are going to say the following. Why can't we just make new movies? Why can we go back? Why do we have to stop recreating everything? I agree. But we only get so many like Interstellars and Inceptions and ones that are like cool.
Both Nolan.
Like there's only so many of him that do new innovative stuff. So, and then some of the other stuff that comes out these days is just trash. So if we're going to do that, I'll just say this, Tom, you probably have a different take on this. If we're going to live in yesteryear, which we all liked better because it was way better, but if we're going to live in yesteryear and we can't make new good things, then let's at least try and repurpose and make good new old things. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. You did say it right.
So my question for this though is Sly is not in the Rambo prequel. Arnold is saying he's going to be in the others. Like, okay, hold on. How are you going to be Conan the Barbarian in your 80s? It's supposed to be good. Like the script is King Conan, so maybe he's older and but it's like you look better than almost every other 80-year-old out there. I forget what
it was hard to see him in the last Terminator that he did.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It's just
it wasn't the same.
You're not the Terminator. You're not the dude from Commando killing Bennett.
Fellas, we're living in the age of AI. Do you think we cannot create an AI 20-year-old?
That's true.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
But if they're willing to do that.
But to me, where it's hard for me on those things, like let's even go back to the first, like it was like one of the first films that did it was the Tron, the new, not the Ares, but the second Tron movie. Bring Jeff Bridges back. He plays old, his role, and then he also plays young. But when you see him as young, it's his older voice voicing it because obviously they put him with the dots in there and then they made him look younger later and they wanted his voice in there. That's the hard part for me. It's like, no, I want young Flynn talking, not
But it does
old
keep
Flynn.
advancing.
It does, yeah.
I just don't know what their thought is. Like,
Well, a couple of things. One, talking about prequels, the prequels that we all wanted and we just didn't know was right after the success of Jaws, they had Jaws 2, which is schlock. It's a total shit movie. Spielberg didn't direct it. Spielberg wanted to do a prequel to Jaws that involved Quint in the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. That is the prequel that we all wanted from that franchise. But when it comes to Rambo, I see it. I think it's a great concept, and I think it's going to be a successful film because in the final scene, when Richard Crenna is inside, Colonel Troutman is talking Rambo off of what he's doing to the city. You get the backstory of what happened to him a little bit in Vietnam. Yeah. And his team members are all well defined because the movie starts off with him trying to find Delmore Berry, and he's established as one of the as a character. And then you hear about Troutman on the radio trying to raise Raven, and he's going through the list of people, and he's calling for Danforth, Ortega. So you have all the characters are there, but going back to that final scene, which I think is one of Sylvester Stallone's greatest acted scenes in his entire career, he talks about the shine box and it being detonated and his friend getting blown to bits and trying to hold his friend together. So there's stories like that I think are going to make for a very, very compelling film.
I think you're right, Tom. Like, I don't sit around and think about these things, but that actually is one of his best acted scenes in his long storied career. That was really good by him.
So according to this report, they're filming on location right now in Thailand, and then I was wondering, are they going to film it on film? Because if they're going to go back, they need to get some old stock that's been in a freezer somewhere, but they haven't come out. But they are saying, like Tom is saying, they are going to be using AI to digitally reconstruct characters.
Interesting. Okay, well, look, it's a new frontier that we live on. And I'll be the first to say for the Arnold ones, that's a great unbuttoned piece that we never got from the John Rambo story.
And plus, if you think about the flashbacks, when he takes his shirt off, he's got all those scars. And then when they go to shave him, they're throwing, he gets held captive somehow. We never know how he got held captive. Yeah. They're throwing feces on him, and then they take the one knife and they cut him as he's like crucified. So you have all that backstory in there as well.
Yeah. It's going to be there's going to be, if they do it right, it's going to be badass, and it's probably going to be pretty dark because, one, a lot of what happened in the soft community and the intel community in Vietnam, but really just all of Vietnam was inherently dark.
I know, because now we're getting into Mac v. Sog territory when it comes to like the history of Vietnam and the history of special operations, which I think is a pretty cool document to have on film.
Hell yeah. Maybe Billy Waugh will be in it.
He passed away.
Well, it's a prequel.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying
we can bring him back.
I'm saying his character.
Yeah, the thing that blew my mind, and just I know I'm moving movies here, but when Star Wars Rogue One came out and they brought one of the admirals back who had passed, and it seemed like I remember watching the theater going, "Wait, didn't this guy die?" But like here he is. He's on screen. He talks majority of the time. It was a digital character. They had an actor come in and play him, and they put the face over him for the entire time. It was incredible. It looked so good. Mm-hmm. They even reconstructed his voice so it sounded just like him. And so now I feel like it's great. We're going to get actors that have gone, if they can get the rights to their likeness and the family agree, however they need to get it right, we're going to have some characters come back from the dead. It's going to be incredible.
Well, I would love it. I was starting to say, current Arnold I have no problem with Arnold, but Arnold's an older guy. Current Arnold can't pull off some of the roles he's talking about doing again. But if they can pull it off and it's believable and the quality of the AI is believable enough, Obviously it's his voice, whatever. I would love for him to return to Predator. Commando has a special place in my heart. Is it worthy of an award? No. But is it a great 80s action popcorn movie that's just bullshit but fun? Yeah, absolutely. If they did it right, would I take another one? Mm-hmm. Let's not put Alyssa Milano in it, although they probably will. But that'll be interesting. But if they don't do it that way, and it's just however old Arnold is now, and I just hope to live as old as he is, let alone look as good as he does. So there's no bashing on him. There's no ageism here. I think we all would love to be either Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly, or Sammy Hagar. Like some of those guys, why do you look younger than I do? Like, this is not fair.
It's because they got money.
They've got
and speaking of money, you're like, why are they recreating? You said you're okay with them recreating, but also why are they recreating stuff? The people who have the money right now grew up watching those films as kids. Well, they're just like, who has the money? The ones that did it when we were younger.
Nostalgia wins. Yeah. Like, it does. Like that's why He-Man could be a great film this summer or a terrible film. It'll do great at the box office because people want to remember better times.
Yeah, they're going to show up with full expectation. It's going to be amazing. Pay tickets, all that stuff. And then if they're let down, they're let down. But they're still going to make some great money out of it for people.
I would almost like to see John Rambo as a series because there's so much material there, I think.
Yeah,
instead of just being a one-off. Because, like I said, just the backstory that you get, the minimal amount of backstory that you get through the original script of First Blood, there is so much there that you could mold and work with that you could easily do. You could easily do a 6-part series. Does it have more legs after the run of the first series? Could you get 3 or 4 out of it? I don't know. It just depends on how far you go back, I guess.
Yeah. No, I agree. I tend to like series better anyways. I get more, although I need you guys to pump them out faster. Like, don't make me wait 12 to 16 months. Like, just sign the freaking talent to be like, we're going to do a 10-episode season here, and this is going to be in the spring, and then in the fall we'll have 10 more. Like, do it kind of like ABC and Fox and CBS do with their shows. I need more. I'll give you the summer. You're
used to the old school programming where we start in the fall and then we have a break at Christmas and we're back in spring.
I just am selfish and
summer.
Want what I want and when I want it, and I don't want to wait a whole year and a half for Lioness or for Landman or something like that. Like, just like Billy Bob, let's go, bro.
Well, I'd say one of the downfalls to the industry has been the streaming platforms because now it's everyone wants it now. And then we went from film to digital, which now it's a quicker turnaround. We can have dailies within minutes as opposed to the next day because we just got to put it into a computer and watch it.
Yeah.
We can have an edit we can have a 90% done edit before the last week of filming is done because they can work it quicker. But then was it worth the money? I don't know. We got to figure it out. Let's not produce another one until we get our return on it and maybe times 3 or 4. And then that's the problem we're at now. Is they just want the money. That's all they want.
Yeah.
And they don't care about us. They don't. Tom says it all the time. Like
they've always wanted the money.
Yeah.
Once they took DVDs and DVD sales and rentals out of the equation, then it was like, okay, how are we going to, redo this business model? So I think that has a lot to do with, the movies, the quality of production that we've seen over the years has kind of gone down because everybody really needs a sure thing. Back in the day when you were producing movies and you also had DVD sales on the back end of it, it may have not done so well at the box office, but you would make up for it in the DVD market. Whereas this, now that you have direct to consumer, nobody really wants to take a chance on anything anymore. They want to know that it's a franchise that they can bank on.
Yeah.
And then you got people who hurt the industry by taking lower rates to work on, whether it's above the line or something like that. And then they start pushing in their political agendas into the scripts and the set, transgenderism, they start shifting all that stuff. But now there's the ones running the companies. And now everyone else who doesn't agree with them is stuck going, why am I watching this?
All valid points, gentlemen. All valid points. Well, we're running up, but we're actually past time. We also need to fix the wall clock.
Yeah, I realized that. I was like, hey, it's only...
Yeah, I was like, we're great. We're on good. And then I looked at my computer. I'm like, no, we're not. We're not. We're definitely not. Please hit that like button if you have not, folks. If you're here for the first time, we're so damn glad that you're here. Please make sure you subscribe, follow, share, do all of those things. Everyone else do those things as well. Bring somebody back with you on Thursday. Look forward to seeing you then. 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day. Be safe, be smart, be free.
We got balls and banter.